Okay, I think we are, oh, yeah, here we go, one more. There we go. Okay, I think that's everyone. So yeah, what I can do is if everyone is all set, I can start the meeting and we can go from there.
Yes, please start the meeting.
Okay, all right, I'm going to also start record as well. So.
Recording in progress.
Okay, hi, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the August 17th meeting of the Election Commission for the City of Lowell. The first item on our agenda is roll call and attendance. So Chairwoman Zaniku.
Here.
Vice Chairman Pope.
Here.
Commissioner Anthus.
Here.
And Commissioner Payton.
Yeah.
Okay, so all commissioners are present. And just for the record, the meeting started at 5:31 p.m. Moving on, before I continue, we have one registered speaker for tonight's meeting. That would
Before
be,
you proceed, can you click got it on your, because there's a big screen on your
oh,
when you started the meeting recording, it's still.
oh, is it still up there? Yeah,
Yeah.
here, let me see if I can find it. I don't have one on my screen.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we're all set.
On LTC screen.
Oh, it's on the LTC screen? Oh,
I
okay.
think you have to click got it. So,
Yeah, you have to click on it.
Oh, okay. Let me see if I can find that.
because I clicked on it and it went away.
It's on the LTC screen, but that's fine.
Oh, okay.
We can go ahead. We can move forward.
Okay. So again, just for the record, we have one registered speaker for tonight, Sally Coulter. And she's going to be, she's requested to speak on items 3A and 3B of the agenda. And she also wanted to speak regarding the meeting minutes. So if there are no objections, I can move on to item 2A, which is a vote to accept minutes from prior meetings. And I sent to the commissioners the meeting minutes for the August 3rd Election Commission meeting and last week's Election Commission meeting on August 11th. And I made sure in the August 11th meeting minutes to include the Election Commission expert, Professor Stewart's report per the request of the commission. So that's included with the minutes.
I move we accept the meetings of the August 3rd meeting.
Okay, motion from Vice Chairman Pope to accept the meeting minutes for August 3rd. Do we have a second?
Second.
Seconded from Chairwoman Zandiku. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes. Is there any further discussion on item 2A?
Yes, the August 11th minutes are incomplete. The page 2 at the bottom where I made the motion to accept the polling places. There was also another part of that motion which stated that if more poll pads became available, we would revisit this with the idea of perhaps adding additional polling places.
Okay. Would you like to suggest that as a correction? To the
Absolutely.
minutes?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Okay. Other than that amendment to the meeting minutes, are there any other amendments?
Move we accept.
Okay, move to accept the August 11th meeting minutes by Vice Chairman Pope. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second it.
Seconded from Chairwoman Zandiku. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion is accepted.
I have a question on the August 3rd. It's not no question about what's in the minutes. It's just a question as to whether or not you gave us a report on the races as to how many were involved in each one. And it was a preliminary report because you hadn't gone through all the signatures. And my question is, did anything change on that once you did go through the signatures in terms of how many are running in each district and who's running?
Yes, nothing has changed. And in fact, tomorrow, again, is on our calendar is the posting of the list of candidates. So we will be posting that tomorrow. And in addition to that, we'll also be posting notice that on Friday at the council chambers at 10 o'clock, we'll be doing the random draw for the ballot order for the preliminary. We anticipate that it's going to be uneventful, given that we only have 4 preliminary elections. But again, it's open to the public, so if anyone would like to attend, we'll pull out the bingo machine again and get the balls in, and we'll prepare the random order for the preliminary per our charter. So
What time is it? What
it's
time
going
is
to be
it?
at 10 o'clock on Friday. And we've reserved the city council chambers, and I'll be posting notice as well tomorrow, along with the posting of candidates. Any further discussion on item 2A? Okay. I guess hearing none, we can move on to item 3A, which is continued business. And that item would be early in-person voting hours and locations for 2021 elections. And there are two sub-items. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Ms. Coulter, how are you this evening? I apologize. I forgot, we have a registered speaker. Mrs. Coulter wanted to speak on item 2A, if you'd like.
Ms. Coulter.
I'm sorry.
I'm not sure it's exactly the minutes because the minutes probably reflect what you did. I sent to Zoe and to Elliot what Professor Stewart sent out for District 4 is incorrect. It indicates that if there's an asterisk that the precincts are split, and that what it has here on his paper is that all of 2-1 and 2-2 are part of District 4 and only a part of District 2-3. And in fact, it's the exact opposite. 2-3 is the downtown area. That's where I live. I'm the ward chair for Ward 2, so I'm more familiar with Ward 2 issues. 2-1 and 2-2 are the precincts that were split. And and in addition, I believe that all of 10-3, that's partial in District 4, and I believe it is all of 10-3. I didn't go through all of this, but I really would hope that you all would, because this has been put out in the Lowell Sun incorrectly, because this is incorrect. And I believe it's on the city's website. So if I didn't go through each one of these, where they're split precincts to see whether those were correct or not. But I know that with District 4, those Ward 2, District 3 is the one that is entirely in District 4. 2-1 and 2-2 are split, and in fact, most of them are in the acre.
Thank you, Sally. I did see your email, and I think I responded to you, and I asked Elliot to forward that information to
You did.
Yes.
To the
and-
expert.
And if I may, Chairwoman, I can follow up on that as well.
Sure.
So I forwarded that to Professor Stewart, and we did an examination again of each of the wards and precincts, and we did identify a few of those areas. And we want to thank you again for your email for identifying that. So we are in the process of finalizing corrections to that. And we will be sending updates on that as well. And part of it is just, again, the design of the districts, these small slivers. But yeah, we are working on that and making the corrections. And once again, we want to thank you, Ms. Coulter, for informing us on that.
It would be
part
nice
of the
if-
review process.
It would be nice if somebody would send a correction to the Sun, since they've sent it out,
Yes.
with what.
Yeah, and once it's finalized, we will do that. We're just still in the process of getting it done.
Okay.
And it's my hope that, again, by the end of the week, that all of that will be finalized, and we will certainly provide updates and corrections where needed.
Thank you. I'm Sally Coulter, 200 Market Street, sorry.
Oh, no, it's quite all right. Thank you, Ms. Coulter.
Just as an addendum, there actually was another error in this Sun also, and I think it had to do with 4-2. So that was different from what was in the report. So
Yeah.
I don't know how we can't make the Sun do it right, but we can try. So because a lot of people get their information from that.
Right, and we'll certainly update it again once we've corrected it. And again, that's sort of the process of the point of the review and audit, that we want to make sure that we catch any issues as we can, since this is a new process, just to make sure that we're all set and that our voter lists are correct. So yeah, Ms. Coulter, we want to thank you for bringing that to our attention. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Sally. Great catch, like I said. Nope.
Okay, moving on to item 3A, which is continued business, again, early in-person voting hours and locations for 2021 elections. And there are two subparts to this. So item I, vote to designate satellite early in-person voting polling locations, dates, and hours for the September 21st, 2021 preliminary election. And sub-item I2, vote to designate satellite early in-person voting polling location dates and hours for November 2nd, 2021 municipal elections. Chairwoman, if it's all right, I can provide the commissions with sort of my findings and research from the last meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Elliot.
Yep. So after the last meeting and based on the Election Commission's requests and the recommendations of Professor Stewart's report, I reached out to the school department and other community partners who to seek out potential early voting satellite locations throughout the city. I'm pleased to report that the school department indicates that they are ready to assist us. All of their schools can be open in the evenings to serve as early satellite polling locations. And once again, I spoke with Minerva, who's with the superintendent's office, and she says the superintendent and school department, as always, are willing and able to assist us in this endeavor. And she indicated that with the schools generally closed in the evenings, it would not be an issue to host our early voting in satellite locations throughout the city of the schools. I'm also pleased to report that two of the city's close community partners, the Coalition for a Better Acre and the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association, have both indicated that they would be honored to host in-person satellite voting at their facilities for a night during the preliminary election and during the November election. Now,
just 1 second. I'm sorry, Elliot. Can you? I forgot to email this to you, but can you also ask Pastor Jeremiah Mayungai? He actually, I spoke with him last week, and he was willing to also host a day at his church, and it is wheelchair accessible as well.
Jeremiah Wiunga, what church is he affiliated with?
Sorry? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I asked what church is he affiliated with?
Christ Jubilee.
Christ Jubilee.
Yes.
Do you know what address that would be at?
301 Smith Street.
Smith Street. Okay. And the reason I ask is we need to identify which district it's in.
Yeah.
So if you can just give me 1 second, I'm just going to go on the city's website so we can look it up.
I think he's getting six. I think that's in 6 because it's around the corner from me and I'm in 6.
Okay. Oh, let's just double check to be on the safe side.
Yep.
3-1. Yeah, it would be in District 6. So going over the sort of locations we've been able to identify as definite. So that would be, again, the school department and the Coalition for a Better Acre. And the Coalition for a Better Acre is located in District 7. And the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association is also located in District 7. And you indicated Christ Church Jubilee is in District 6. So, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Christ Jubilee is not Christ Church. That's another church.
Oh, I'm sorry. Christ Jubilee. Sorry. Okay, so what I've done is I've identified the locations that are available based on this list within each of the districts. And just again, to go back to Professor Stewart's report, he recommended for the preliminary election that early voting in these satellite locations be held in, for 2 days in each district. So again, this would be districts 2, 3, 4, and 7. So if I may, I just wanted to go over the locations that we were able to identify in each of those districts. For District 2, there's Greenhelge Elementary School, which could serve as our early satellite polling location for 2 days. I think I suggest that'd be a good idea, given that that would accommodate all the voters over the river at both districts 2 and 4. And also, just to be clear too, even though these polling locations would be within districts, because it's early in-person voting, any voter can vote in a satellite location. In District 3, I would suggest perhaps that the J.G. Pine School would be a good location to hold the satellite in-person voting there for 2 days. For District 4, the Lowell High School is available. So I would suggest holding it at Lowell High School for 2 days. So that way you also get, voters, south of the river in District 4. And then finally for District 7, I would suggest Coalition for a Better Acre for 1 evening, and the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association for another evening. And that way, that would be, again, 2 satellite early voting locations in each district. Something I also wanted to suggest to the election commissioners is that given that you're going to be doing early voting in these satellite locations as well, you can change the hours currently for the centralized polling location so as to better accommodate these, satellite locations. So for instance, on the weekends, instead of having, and again, this is just a suggestion, instead of having early voting at the senior center from 9 to 3, you could have it, say, from 9 to 1, and then at your satellite location that you choose on the weekend from 2 to 5. So that way, that would make it easier for voters on the weekend, so that if they want to go to a satellite location, they can do it in the afternoon instead of in the evening, which may be more challenging. I wanted to, suggest that as a possibility to the election commissioners, especially given that, you're using a poll pad at the senior center, and you'd like to have that poll pad, available both at the senior center, and then you would transport it to your satellite polling location. But I just wanted to bring that up to the commissioners as an option as you examine this.
Now that you mentioned weekends, excuse me, I asked that this be put on the agenda because we kind of went through it in a hurry last time, but what we've set up is we only have 1 weekend available for early voting. And what I would suggest is that we take off the first Wednesday and Thursday and open up a Saturday and Sunday at the end so that we have 2 weekends available. I think that's going to make it easier for people. So we have Friday, September 10th through Sunday, September 19th as our early voting. And then likewise, the same thing for the November election. It gives us the full 10 days, and it doesn't cut off the early voting on Friday before a Tuesday election.
My concern with that, Commissioner Pope, would be usually the weekend before the election, and again, the election would be September 1st, is spent preparing for election day. So over the weekend, we set up our polling materials and process what early voting ballots we've received so that they're ready to go to our polling locations on election day. We also make sure that our machines are set up. So generally, Saturday and Sunday, a lot of the time is spent prepping for election day, and that's kind of the reason why when the Secretary of State sets up early voting, the days that they authorize, they don't do it the weekend before Election Day, because often municipalities are prepping for Election Day itself on that weekend. So my concern is that if we do it that weekend, we're not going to have enough time to prep for Election Day itself. It would essentially only give us Monday, and then we're truncated in terms of our prep. So that's my concern regarding the proposal.
Okay, I have another question. You said that any voter can go to any location for early voting. Is that correct? For early in-person voting.
That's correct. So
Okay,
you don't necessarily have to be in the district to vote.
Okay, so when I proposed the system several weeks ago for the election for this, I was told that would lead to fraud and voter intimidation. Can you tell me how this is different?
Well,
It's not going to lead to fraud and voter intimidation.
Right. Well, again, Commissioner Pope, the difference is that with early voting, you're not processing the ballots in the ballot machine, the AccuVote machine. What you're doing during the early voting process is you get, and again, just to go through the process again, let's say I'm an early voter. I come to my early voting polling location and I check in through the poll pad. The poll pad or the voter list would indicate, who I am, where I live, what ballot I receive. And then I get the ballot, I mark it, but I'm not processing the ballot in the AccuVote machine. Instead, I fold the ballot, I put it in the affidavit envelope, I seal the affidavit envelope, and I sign the affirmation indicating that I am the voter, this is who I am. And then on Election Day, those ballots are delivered to the polling location. Those ballots are checked in by the poll worker and then processed through the machine. So that's a key difference between voting on early and voting, and voting on Election Day itself.
And they check the signatures against the rolls.
That's correct. When you submit your application. And something to keep in mind too, when it comes to early voting is even when you hold a satellite location, you should only have one early voting polling location at a time. You don't want a situation where, your times are colliding because you're using the same early voting pad to check in all the voters. You don't want a situation where when you're processing early voters, some people are being missed in the poll pad. So that's why when I suggest the early voting satellite locations, I think something that the commission should look at is if you hold early voting at your central location, the senior center, for a particular time, at your satellite location, you would then hold early voting for a couple of hours after that point. So that way.
So I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
So my question is, we don't now have to adhere to the hours that were proposed last time, right?
That's correct.
We were following City Hall's hours. So with the next 10 days, instead of having, Fridays, I guess from 9 to 12 available for early voting, we could actually have 9 till 8 p.m. Correct?
Yeah, if the
If
commission
it's a satellite location, correct?
Yeah, if the commission
All right,
would like.
so then my question would remain, so we can actually have early voting all day from 9 or 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. all 10 days if we wanted, correct?
Certainly, yeah,
Yeah.
if the commission would wish.
Okay, I think that would be something that we might want to just talk about and maybe discuss now, because what this is doing is allowing us again more flexibility and folks more flexibility in order to vote early, and we don't have to necessarily adhere to the time or the hours of City Hall being open, because my last question was, are we going to utilize City Hall as a satellite location for early voting at all, or is it just primarily the senior center and the other places that you mentioned?
I didn't bring up City Hall as a location, and the reason for that was, as you may be aware, we've reinstituted the mask mandate because of COVID issues. And part of the concern with the elections office is that it's a pretty small space, and there isn't really space to accommodate a lot of voters here at City Hall compared to the senior center. I recall, I think the elections office was used as an early voting polling location once, and the problem was is that the space was so small there wasn't really an area to accommodate voters. So
And then there was also another year where it was used, I think there was a room upstairs on the second floor
yeah,
that was dedicated as early voting.
right. And part of the problem there again is it's a small space, and it's an office. And so right now that office is occupied, so it's not going to be available for this year or future elections. Yeah, it's already been assigned to someone. So that's those were some of the concerns and sort of practical issues relative to City Hall. That's why I would suggest that I think the senior center is just a more open space, especially in light of, unfortunately, COVID seemingly rearing its head again, especially as we get closer to the fall. So,
Yeah.
Another thing you were talking about is having evening hours available at these various places, but the schedule we passed last time only has one evening available.
right.
Yeah,
Now,
that-
And that's
we can
why,
mo-
right.
That's why I just brought that up, that
Yeah.
we don't
We-
have to adhere to those, to that
we
time frame.
can change that anytime we want to, but just make sure we notice that we only, right now, we have Tuesday evening, that's it.
Right.
Yep.
And it's certainly what the election commission do is you can certainly change that. So given these satellite locations, what you can do is you could have, as an example, early voting at your centralized location from say 8 to 5. And then in the evening, you can do it at your, at your satellite point location. That's an option you could do.
So I just have another question though. You're saying in the evenings we can do it at the satellite location, but the poll path would have to travel, correct?
Right, that's correct.
So we're gonna have to allow for time. We can't say that it's from 8 to 8 in the morning. We'd have to say something like 8 to 4, and then maybe 5 to 8, just to allow for time to.
Yeah, that's a very good idea, Chairwoman. I think having an hour period between it would give enough time for, us to travel to the new location to set up, pick up everything, set up, and be ready at the satellite location.
Okay. I think we should keep it simple. I think we should keep it from 8 to 8 of all 10 days. So we accommodate everyone. And when I say 8 to 8, I mean 8 to 4 and then 5 to 8. Instead of having various time frames on each day, especially when we're going to be changing the satellite locations. The hours should be consistent. It will be easier to remember.
There's no reason to have 8 to 12 just because City Hall's open 8 to 12. If
Yeah.
we're not using it. Good. Just have that every day, and then people don't have to worry about times. They just have to worry about where.
Exactly.
I move that. So move.
Second.
Okay, motion from Vice Chair Pope to have our early voting be from 8 to 8, all early in-person voting be from 8 to 8 for all 10 days, seconded by Commissioner Zadiku.
Well, that is-
any
with,
discussion?
with an appropriate
Wait,
break for moving the equipment.
Okay, with an appropriate break to move the equipment in between
Yes.
the two locations.
So
Okay.
Mark, it'll be from 8 to 4 and then 5 to 8.
Well, let's not split times, and there might be some reason to make it 8 to 3 and then
Yeah.
4 to 8 or something, just with an appropriate break. So presumably the appropriate break is not going to be 6 hours. No.
Okay. Okay. Okay, any further discussion? Something that I'll check with the senior center is just make sure that their hours are available on those Fridays. Again, if it's a situation where they can only be open from 8 to noon, you could always have the remaining hours be at the satellite location. So
Right.
I just want to raise that, you know,
It's fine.
right now.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
It's within the motion.
Still
Okay.
need a vote.
Any further discussion?
You still need to vote. We need to,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I guess hearing no
Okay.
discussion, I guess we move to a vote. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, I guess hearing none, the motion passes. And
We need to vote on the locations.
yes,
We haven't
Well,
done-
I don't know that we need to vote on them specifically. We can say at appropriate locations. If we get down to the if we get down to the nitty gritty, we could be picking at you all day.
well, no, I would suggest though, Commissioner Pope, that the election commission does in fact have to designate the
Okay.
early voting polling locations for the satellite.
Do you have those
So-
for us now?
Yeah, sure. Again, and again, this is based on my review and the recommendations of Professor Stewart. For District 2, Green Helge Elementary School, for 2 evenings. If you want, we could do our polling locations in order. Yeah, satellite polling locations in order. So starting on September 8th, which would be the first day of early voting, we could have Green Helge on the 8th and the 9th. And then for District 3, the J.G. Pine School for 2 days from the 10th to the 11th. And then for District 4, Lowell High School from the 12th to the 13th. So that's a Sunday and Monday. And then finally, the Coalition for a Better Acre and the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association from the 14th and the 15th. And that would be your 8 days of satellite early voting at,
What about Christ Jubilee?
oh, well, Christ Jubilee would be District 6, and District 6 does not have a preliminary.
Okay, so this will be for the general election then,
Well, what I just said would be for the preliminary, so.
right?
Yeah,
But we're gonna set this so that it's for both the preliminary as well as the general. So at
Right.
this point, yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's correct. That's gonna, we're still on item 3AI. So when we get to 3A2, we can bring that up.
okay.
So. Oh, Madam Chair, I believe Ms. Coulter has her hand raised.
Oh, yes, Ms. Coulter, go ahead.
I guess I had wanted to speak before you voted, but to encourage as many evenings and weekend as possible, because you have people that work and may not be easy. But I guess, it sounds like you're making every effort to do that. Something I think is going to be really important is to be really clear with the information you give out. One thing you need to be explicit about is how people obtain an application to get mail-in ballot. They may think because it was sent to them last time that they'll just get it. And I doubt that's the way it works this time. So you need to tell people how they get, if they want to mail in, how they get it, where they can drop it off, what the days are. I mean, as much as possible, give people all the information, you know, so that when you're putting out information, they know exactly what it is they're supposed to be doing. Anyway, I guess I was hoping you'd add another weekend day too. But we've already voted on that. Also, what the deadlines are to register before both the preliminary and the final election, so that people who aren't registered know that there's a deadline coming up and what it is. Also, where the drop boxes are. So there's just a lot of information about this, and we've only gone through this once with the presidential election, which is really quite a different, probably a much bigger election than is particularly the preliminary will be, maybe either of them. And also, I think it's really, really crucial to make people aware that they can vote in any of these locations, because actually Greenhalgh, for a number of people in District 4 who are really upset that there's not a location on their side of the river, they can vote on those early days in Greenhalgh, so that they need to be really aware that that's a possibility. They can go vote there early, and they don't have to go to Lowell High, you know, as a District 4 thing. So I guess that's that they can go to any of those rather than sort of, you know, talking about them in terms of a district is almost more important.
Yes, thank you so much, Sally. We appreciate that. Okay, so there's a lot of things going on in the chat. Okay, so Elliot, can you just verify that we will be able to utilize the schools for early voting during school hours?
What Miranda, the school department, indicated is that in the evenings, the schools would be available because there are no students there. So in the evenings, it would be fine, but during school days, you know, if students are present, that would be an issue. But weekends, because there are no students in the school, that would be fine as well.
So where would the early locations be during the days that you just indicated? Which was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday?
Yeah, so Wednesday, and again, so September 8th and September 9th, I was going to suggest Greenhalgh Elementary School. So it would be in the evenings, you know, 6 to 8, you know, as a suggestion, if your senior center is from, let's say, 8 to you know, 5, you know, and again, I'm just saying, you know, that as an example.
Okay, so maybe we might want to rethink that one, just because of what Sally just brought up. So maybe we can have that one over the weekend. We can utilize the Greenhalgh since it's open all day. And that one, that also, yeah, covers the issue with District 4.
Okay, so what we could do is,
and do we really have to, I guess somebody brought up, are we really, so what was the thought process behind the polling places 2 days in a row? What was the reason that the professor gave?
the recommendation was, because there's only 4 districts involved, and you would have 8 days of the satellite early voting to sort of maximize, you know, voter outreach during the preliminary and voter availability. You'd have 2 days of early voting at a satellite location instead of 1 per district.
Okay, so I think we want to rethink this then. So I think Greenhalgh definitely over the weekend, and then what was the other place that that people really wanted to go and vote and we weren't able to accommodate? What was it? Jim, what was the other place?
Rogers School.
The Rogers School. Then
Roger.
we can utilize an 8 to 8 location, 2 days at the Rogers School. I think that's a fair compromise, and actually, If we want to even, if we want to just make it, since it's 8 days, we can make it 4 days one place and 4 days the other.
And advantage is they're kind of on opposite sides of the city, opposite ends of the city, so. Gives more people access.
So do you understand what I'm saying, what we're saying,
So,
Elliot?
so what you're suggesting is instead of having 2 locations in each district, you would just have the Green Helge and the Robinson be used as the satellite locations. So 4 days at Green Helge and 4 days at Robinson.
Well, you just indicated that we are not
Right.
able to go in until in the evenings in these schools, correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm suggesting that the 4 days, yes, in each of these schools, but during the middle of the morning and the afternoon, we utilize like our business, like our community partners, where we're able to, and then as well as the senior center.
But then you'll have conflicting hours then though.
On
So-
different days. So let's just, follow me for a few minutes. So on Wednesday, the Robinson School is from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. because there's kids there during the mornings, right? And then on Wednesday, that same Wednesday, you have the senior center from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. On Thursday, again, the Robinson School, senior center 8 to 4. On Friday, Robinson School 5 to 8, again, senior center 8 to 4. On the weekend, Green Alge, Saturday, Sunday, the Green Alge, all day, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Next Monday, that Monday, whichever other, school that we have, 5 to 8, and then maybe CMAA from 8 to 4, or what was the other place? The CBA from 8 to 4, whichever. But we should maximize the time used, like the schools that we're using. We should cut down the schools that we're using. We should maximize the times that we're using those schools so that we have a consistent location. And the locations that were really prevalent in the community when they were speaking up, that polling locations were actually needed there. So I think it's a win for everyone. It's a good compromise.
Okay, I'm just trying to follow through it. So to use the scheduling again, early voting would start September 8th. So for September 8th, you would have the senior center from 8 to, let's say 8 to 5. And then
8 to 4.
8 to 4. So senior center from 8 to 4. And then where would you have it in the evening?
Oh, the Rogers School,
Rogers School.
5 to 8.
That's for District 2?
Yes,
That's for District 4.
4,
Four.
sorry.
Oh, 4.
Okay, so now Thursday, September 9th.
Senior center, 8 to 4.
Okay,
Rogers School, 5 to 8.
Rogers School. 5 to 8, and that's for District 4. Okay. All right, so Friday, September 10th.
Senior center, 8 to 4. Rogers School, 5 to 8.
Rogers School, 5 to 8.
Was that the one that we didn't elect, right? Wayne Janess is asking. I don't have the polling locations in front of me right now.
Rogers School was selected as a polling location for Election Day.
Okay.
Right.
But that's for District 4. I'm getting messed up on which district is which now.
District 4 is the one. Would you care if I brought up the map?
Yes, please. That will actually make it better.
Okay, can you see the map?
Yeah.
All right,
Yes.
this is District 4.
All right, can we go back to District 2 and get go numerically?
Okay, so the District 2 is right here. The Robinson School is here. The Greenhelch School is around here.
Okay,
Right. It'd be senior center, 8 to 4, and then
Green Alge.
Green
You wanted to go numerically, right? Yeah, there will be Green Alge for the next 3 days.
So that's 9, 8, and 9, 9. That's September 8th and September 9th?
And then that Friday too.
Okay,
Okay, so instead of Rogers School, you want the Greenhelge Elementary School from 5 to 8, September's 8th, 9th, and 10th. Is that correct?
Yeah,
So,
that'll be fine. If we're gonna do it numerically, that's fine.
okay.
okay. So that is September 8th, September 9th, and September 10th.
Right,
So Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So
okay.
now we are on
District 2,
Saturday, September 11th.
Okay. So that's senior center again, 8 to 4.
That one, so Saturday and Sunday, we can either utilize the schools for the entire
Uh-huh.
day, which I would suggest so that we don't have a break,
Okay,
rather than the senior centers, or we can continue with just the senior centers from 8 to 4 and then the but I think it would make more sense just to utilize the school since it's 8 to 8.
but you don't think that's going to be confusing for people when they've
All
been
right.
going to the senior center?
Okay, or we can just utilize the senior centers from 8 to 8.
Oh.
Are they open until 8 o'clock?
Um,
I don't think so. I don't
Not
think so.
Saturday and Sunday.
Okay.
Generally, it's from 9 to 3 is when they were open. So,
Okay. So what do you guys suggest? Should we keep, continue with the senior center Saturday and Sunday until they close and then the schools in the evenings?
Yes,
Okay,
Sounds good. That sounds better.
okay.
So that would be the 11th and the 12th.
Yeah,
and again, what you could do at the senior center is if you want to do a half day, you could do it from like, again, 9 to 1, and then you have the afternoon at at another location. So that could be an option as well.
like the way we have it.
Okay. All right.
So then where is it going to be in the evening?
Elliot?
All right, so you did Greenhelge Elementary School for 3 days,
No.
and that's District 2.
Two.
So the other districts are again 3, 4, and 7. So for District 3, there's JG Pine School. For District 4, there's Lowell High School, and then for District 7, you have the CBA and CMAA.
Okay. So now District 4, that would be the 13th and 14th September?
Yes, I'm looking at it now. It looks like the 13th, 14th.
Okay, so senior center, 8 to 4, and then high school in the evening, 5 to 8. All right. Then District 7.
All right, so that'll be that Saturday and Sunday, correct?
Is that the third? I don't have the calendar in front of me.
No, so the weekend would be Saturday, September 11th, and Sunday, September 12th. So September 13th is a Monday.
Okay, so 11th and 12th would be, did you say Lowell High School?
No. That was the JG Pine.
Okay, JG Pine is 11th and 12th?
Yep.
And then the 13th, right?
13th
That's,
is a Monday.
Okay,
that would be District 4, 13th and 14th. senior center in the morning and the high school in the evening.
Okay, sounds good.
And then 9:15, 9:16. So District 7 will be the 15th and the 16th. Senior Center 8 to 4.
And the 17th, right? The 17th, the last day?
Yes.
Well, 8 days of early satellite voting would end September 15th.
15th? Then
Yeah,
only
that
gives you-
would, that would be 8 days starting from September 8th. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15th. So your 8 days
Okay.
would stop on the 15th.
Then that only gives you 1 day at the coalition. Because you've got two dates fixed. You get 3 in one of them, I think.
So now why do we only have 8? Why do we only have
I
8?
thought we were gonna have 10. I thought it was 10 days before.
We have 10 days here on the,
Right, it's 10 days of early
Ouch.
voting. It was the recommendation of Professor Stewart that it be 8 days of satellite voting and 10 days at the central
Oh, that's
location.
right. That's right.
Well, we
okay.
didn't accept that. We take 10 days of satellite voting. I believe.
Yeah, it's certainly the commission's prerogative if they wish to do that.
Okay, so yeah, let's just fill out the 10 days then. So that it's consistent. So where were you, Mark?
Well, the District 7, that would you, if it was going to the 15th, that would only be 1 day for District 7. So
But
if
we're
you go,
going-
we're gonna go to the 10th, if you go to the 16th, and that will give each one of them 2 days,
Okay,
but that only brings you to 9 days. Like, math is right.
we have Friday, the 17th as a 10th day.
Yeah, he hasn't assigned that yet.
that can just stay with CMAA then. As a 5 to 8.
What was that again?
CMAA, I think it was CBA and CMAA, right?
Right.
So then you still have that 1 day.
No,
No, no. That's what we we're just talking about.
The 1 day is CMAA.
Oh, and then 1 day would be the. Okay,
Yeah, remember, people are not restricted to voting on the days in their districts. They can go anywhere.
so CAMA 1 day and then CBA another day, the next day.
if it would be helpful, I took down notes if you want me to repeat the dates and
Yeah.
locations.
Can you actually put it in the chat?
Um,
Mhm.
I could try.
And then we can, if you wanted to stop, yeah, okay. Because we're getting a lot of questions.
It may be best if I just state it out loud. So based on what the commission has discussed, September 8th, which is a Wednesday, so starting from the beginning, you would have senior center from 8 to 4, Green Helge Elementary School from 5 to 8. September 9th, which is a Thursday, would be senior center from 8 to 4, Green Helge from 5 to 8. September 10th, you'd have the senior center from 8 to 4, Green Helge from 5 to 8. September 11th, which is a Saturday, you'd have the senior center from 9 to 3, and then the JG Pine from 4 to 8. On September 12th, you'd have the senior center from 9 to 3, the JG Pine from 4 to 8. September 13, you would have the senior center from 8 to 4, Lowell High School from 5 to 8. September 14th, you would have the senior center from 8 to 4, Lowell High School from 5 to 8. September 15th, you'd have the senior center from 8 to 4, the coalition for a Better Acre from 5 to 8. For September 16th, you'd have the senior center from 8 to 4, the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association from 5 to 8. And then September 17th, you'd have the Senior Center from 8 to 4, and then the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association from 5 to 8. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's what I had.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, so,
So we should be able to actually transpose those down for the November election. Whoops, of course, that's a different, that's A2, isn't it? Okay,
that's, yeah, that's
yeah,
it. too.
okay.
So this is for the preliminary.
I move we accept these.
Okay, motion from Vice Chair Pope to accept these times and
Second.
locations. Second from Chairman Zaniku.
And
Any-
if you may, can you just either repeat or someone put this in the chat? And are we able to put this in the chat?
If someone types it,
I can type it. Any further discussion? Aye. All right. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion passes.
So these will be in the minutes, so. as soon as
Yeah,
minutes
the
are
thing is,
posted,
yeah, some of our community partners are taking the notes so that they can start their scripts and updating their information for the community and the public. So
okay,
they can help out. So that's why that's the only reason. Yeah, that's why I'm asking that be posted so they can have it and run with it, because we need all of the,
Yeah.
publicity we can. We need, yep.
yeah, there should be a better way. The chat disappears as soon as we close the meeting.
Yeah.
If but Mary Torres said she saves it, so, okay. It'll depend on her.
Okay, so moving on to,
Or do a screenshot when it comes up.
moving on to the next item in the agenda, that would be early in-person voting hours. I'm sorry, vote to designate satellite early in-person voting polling location dates and hours for the November 2nd, 2021 municipal election. Again, that's 10 days of early voting, starting
Yeah.
Wednesday, October 20th, and going through until October 29th, which is a Friday.
Yeah, I move that we adopt the same hours that
Same
we did for the
hours.
September
That's good.
21st.
Okay. so-
Second.
Okay, motion to accept the same hours as the preliminary in-person early voting for the municipal election early voting. Motion by Vice Chair Pope, seconded by Chair Zaniku. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, that motion passes. So going through the list that I was able to compile for each district. For District 1, you have Pawtucket Memorial Elementary. For District 2, again, Green Helge Elementary School. For District 3, again, JG Pine School. For District 4, again, Lowell High School. For District 5, you have Butler Middle School. For District 6, we have the Maury School and Christ Jubilee as identified by the chair. For District 7, you have the Cambodian Mutual Assistance Association and the Coalition for a Better Acre. And for District 8, you have the Daily School.
Okay, but we have about 11 polling places for the general election, correct? And we have 10 dates for early voting. So,
Right. So if you're going to do one polling location per district, that would be 8, one at each.
Okay.
So,
Okay, now it's senior, senior center, one of those polling locations. Is that correct?
The senior center is in District 7,
Okay, but it is a polling location.
and it is a polling location, right? For
Okay,
both,
so-
it's the central polling location for early voting, and it's the polling location on election day.
Okay, so we don't have to have a satellite location off of senior center because it's going to be in all the rest of them. So eliminating senior center, we can just take one day for each one of our polling places.
That's
That makes
correct.
sense?
Yeah,
Okay, we
that,
just have to decide which days.
I
Higher
think
math.
I think he just went over that. So yeah. So agreed. So do you want to make a motion? Do you want to repeat it again, Elliot, so that we hear it again and then we can make a motion and pass it?
oh, okay. Well, that was the list. I guess the question is do you want to assign a location to, I think you would have to assign a location to a day. So so the senior center is your, centralized early voting polling location. Is it the intention of the commission to, again, have evenings be for, these satellite locations?
Yes.
Yes,
So
okay.
evenings be for the satellite location, just go to 1 through 8, go through
Okay,
1 through 8, and just
all right, so
Well-
October 20th,
except for what Jim just explained, which was
right,
the senior
except
center.
for 7, since the senior center is going to be that location. So October 20th is a Wednesday. Senior center from 8 to 4. And then starting at District 1, Pawtucket Memorial Elementary from 5 to 8. And that's for District 1. So Thursday, October 21st, Senior Center, 8 to 4. And then moving down the list, Green Helge Elementary School, which is in
Whoa, whoa.
District 2.
But we still have McKinnview. Right? We
Yeah,
have,
that's in
we have-
District 1.
I know, but we have, for all the districts, we have 11 polling locations. If you take out the senior center, because we're using that for every one of them, we can have, each one of our polling locations be an evening spot.
Oh, I see. Okay, so then it would be McAvenue.
Right.
McAvenue from 5 to 8.
There's some on the grass. I didn't do
Okay, so now
Which district is the McAvenue?
District 1.
That's still 1, okay.
Okay, so now October 22nd, which is a Friday. Senior Center, 8 to 4. Green Helge Elementary School, 5 to 8.
What happened to Robinson?
That would be next.
Okay,
So now we're October 23rd. This is a Saturday. So it's the Senior Center from 9 to 3. Robinson from 4 to 8.
according to the report I have, Green Hills is not one of our centers, one of our polling locations.
Oh, it's not. Oh, so, all right, then,
It's not, but because it's a satellite location for early voting is designated for one, we can keep it. So let's keep it that way.
And it's the other
Okay.
side of the river.
And it's the other side of the river, so it's a good compromise.
Okay, I agree, but we have to then take one out some further down the list.
Okay.
Okay. And to be clear, only one location's open at a time, right?
Right.
Yes.
Um, October 23rd, we have let's see. Something to keep in mind too, though, is, you know, one of the goals of the satellite locations is to sort of not use sort of the polling locations you're using on election day. So the idea is to sort of expand it out. So, you know, I just want to sort of bring that up, that, you know, if you want to, you know, sort of expand it to other locations other than your polling locations, you know, that could be an option, but
Yeah, it could be an option, but at this point, because this has just been so cumbersome and complicated, we want to make the message as easy and simple as possible. So at maybe our next election, we can go out after, you know, after we're able to actually utilize the census data and get everything correct, we can do that. But for this, I feel as though that we should just keep it simple. Keep it simple.
okay. Okay, so October 23rd, again, that's a Saturday. Is it the commission's will, senior center from 9 to 3, and then what would it be for District 2?
What's the next, what is the option?
It'd be Robinson, Robinson and 2.
And we only have Robinson?
That's right. Robinson's the only polling location for 2 on
Okay.
election day.
Okay.
All right. Sunday, October 24th. You have a senior center from 9 to 3. And then going to, I guess, District 3, you have the J.G. Pine School.
From 4 to 8.
From 4 to 8. Yeah. Chairwoman, since we're not using Greenhalgh Elementary as a polling location, you know, on election day, would it make sense to use Greenhalgh Elementary for both days for early voting instead of the Robinson? I think that might be easier or more convenient. Just throwing that out.
What do you guys think?
So that would be Friday and Saturday. Would be at the Greenhouse.
I'm okay with it. I think
Yeah.
it's,
That's
Okay.
fine. That's fine.
yeah.
Okay, so Greenhalgh would be for both October 22nd and October 23rd.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so October 24th, again, that's senior center from 9 to 3, and then J.G. Pine would be from 4 to 8.
No problem.
Okay.
And then I would suggest if you're going to, again, do another location in District 3, you would use the J.G. Pine again, because we're not using it as a polling location on election day.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. All right, so October 25th, which is a Monday. Senior Center, 9 to 3. JG Pine, 4 to 8.
That's 9 to 3. That's the weekend hours.
That's correct.
That's,
Okay,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh.
You're right. It should be from 8 to 4,
8 to 4, right.
5 to 8.
Tuesday.
October 26th. Senior Center from 8 to 4. That is the long day, so it could be from 8 to 8 at the Senior Center for 7.
For the 26th.
Yeah.
Senior Center going to stay open that long?
Yeah,
Well, it would be on a long day, so.
Long day, okay.
okay, go ahead and keep the senior center for 8 to 8 on Tuesday, the 26th.
Okay. October 27th is Wednesday.
Yep.
So. We have, just looking at the 1, 2, 3, 7. There's 4, 5, 6, and 8 left. And there's only 3 days.
That's because we just utilized the senior center from 5 to 8 on Tuesday.
Right, but that's districts 1, 2, 3, and 7. So that's 4 districts. There are 4 remaining. If you want to have an early satellite location in each district.
There's 3 remaining days, but there's four districts, right?
That's correct.
The reason why there's only 3 remaining days because we just utilized Tuesday, the 26th, 5 to 8 at the senior center and not another district.
Okay.
8 to 8.
So if we want, I don't know about you guys, but if we want to reconsider the Tuesday 8 to 8 and just continue with the 8 to 4 and then another district from 5 to 8, I'd be fine with that too.
If you don't, the one that's left out will be unhappy.
Yes, they will be.
Okay. So. Okay, so October 27th is a Wednesday.
Yes.
So how do you want it? So the senior center is from 8 to 4. And again, there are, you have districts 1, 2, 3, and 7.
Which one do we plug in there?
Yeah,
where we had
pick one. Which one? Let's do one.
2, 4, they're the ones that are most handicapped.
There's the Lowell High School. That hasn't been done.
Sounds good. 5 to 8, Lowell High School, the 7th to the 27th.
2, yeah, on 4.
Okay, 5 to 8. October 28th.
Yep. Senior Center 9 to 4. And then,
8 to 4.
I'm sorry, 8 to 4. You're right. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, so you have districts 5, 6, and 8 remaining.
Okay. Let's go for 6.
All right, so that would be the Maury School.
5 to 8.
5 to 8. And finally, October 29th, which is a Friday,
Mhm.
Senior Center, 8 to 4.
Coalition of Better Acre.
That's in District 7. You've already got that with
Already,
the
yeah.
Senior Center.
Nope. So we're gonna, yeah.
So what do we do with the long day?
The long day is the Senior Center, which is in
know.
District 7.
Okay, by not splitting that is why we have one left over.
So let's wait, Jim, let's finish on the 29th first. How many, so what do we have left?
You have Districts 8 and Districts 6 left.
Okay. So what's in district, I thought we just did 6 on the 28th.
I'm sorry, you're right, District 6. So you have Districts 5 and Districts 8 left.
Okay, so what's in District 5?
District 5 is the Butler Middle School and District 8 is the Daly School.
Okay, let's do Friday daily. So District 8. And then we're gonna pivot back to the 26th,
Yeah,
and we're gonna plug in Butler right in there.
5 to 8.
So for the 26th, you want the Senior Center from 8 to 4 and then
Butler.
Butler from
5 to 8.
5 to
Yep.
8.
Yeah. How's that looking, Elliot? How does that look?
Would you like me to read it back to you all?
Please.
All right, starting October 20th, which is a Wednesday. Senior Center 8 to 4, Pawtucket Memorial from 5 to 8. October 21st, Senior Center 8 to 4, McAvenue 5 to 8. October 22nd, Senior Center 8 to 4, Green Helge Elementary 5 to 8. October 23rd, Senior Center 9 to 3, Green Helge 4 to 8. October 24th, Senior Center 9 to 3, JG Pine 4 to 8. October 25th, Senior Center 8 to 4, JG Pine 5 to 8. October 26th, Senior Center 8 to 4, Butler 5 to 8. October 27th, Senior Center 8 to 4, Lowell High School 5 to 8. October 28th, Senior Center 8 to 4, Maury School 5 to 8. October 29th, Senior Center 8 to 4, Daly 5 to 8.
Sounds great.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, so now we just have to vote on it.
So move.
Second,
All right, motion from Commissioner Pope, seconded from Commissioner Zaniku. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Moving to the next item in the agenda. New business, communication to the Election Commission from the Disability Commission regarding purchase of AutoMark tables and privacy screens. So the Disability Commission held a meeting last week, and they voted to authorize the use of Disability Commission funds to purchase AutoMark tables, which are upon which the AutoMark machines rest. So these tables also have a privacy screen. The Disability Commission informed me. I've reached out to ESNS and obtained a quote from them on behalf of the Disability Commission, and the Disability Commission is sort of moving from there. So I wanted to inform the Election Commission of this, though, because it is elections related from the Disability Commission.
How will that work into our early voting? Do we have to move the AutoMark machine around from place to place?
We would, I believe we would. So I think we have one current table that is functioning that we can use to transport. So. And finally, on new business 4B, again, communication regarding to the Election Commission from the Disability Commission regarding the hiring of an ALS translator to participate in a day of in-person early voting. So the Disability Commission also expressed a desire that for one of the days at the Lowell Senior Center that they hire an ALS translator who would assist voters who are ALS with the voting process. So it would be one day at the
Excellent.
Senior Center for several hours.
So we have to decide which day? Or are they going to decide?
No, I don't think you would need to decide on that. It's whatever day they're available that they'd be willing to work during the early voting. We would just, advertise and post it.
I think it'll be great if they can do the kickoff, like the first day of early voting for each time. But yeah,
I could certainly bring that up to the Disability Commission, but
but whenever they want, yeah, absolutely.
okay, that concludes all items on the agenda.
I have one question, maybe you can answer at a future meeting. We've hired 2 experts to help us through all this. How much did we pay these experts? Can you find out for us?
I can certainly bring that up to the law department.
I presume that's a matter of public record since it's city funds.
Again, I don't know, Jim.
Okay,
Anything else?
we had a question. What are the accommodation for the sight impaired?
That would be the AutoMark machine. Again, it's designed to magnify ballots as you mark it. So and we also
Right.
have magnifiers in the poll worker kits. So it can be offered to any voter who requests one.
And another question are the timeline for the announcements and the translation mailings of the changes in translation in the mailings. Do we have that now that we've just solidified our polling location as well as our early voting spaces?
I will have to work on the notices that will have to be presented to the public. So I don't have a timeline as of right now.
Okay.
In past elections, we've had this issue come up. I don't know whether it's a real one or not about the Khmer dialect on the automark machines. Are we still dealing with that, or have we resolved that somehow?
Again, with the Automark voting machines, the Khmer language portions of the ballots are recorded by a Khmer speaker and provided to ES&S. The way the system is designed is you have English, Spanish, and Khmer. It doesn't really take into account dialects. I know.
Yeah, I understand. I've been in polling places when people started complaining about this, and so we need a response. Is all. If we're going to be in the polling places, somebody does that, we need a response to them. So I don't think it's personally a significant problem. If I go down south and somebody starts talking to me in a southern drawl, I don't complain about their dialect. So,
Well,
I don't know if we have to do anything about it or not.
again, we have the Automark machines, and we try to have translators at all our polling locations. We make a concerted effort to ensure that, and that will remain the same moving forward.
I have a question as well. So going back to, safety concerns as well as, COVID uptick, how are we preparing for that? Or do we have enough PPE for both the folks that are gonna be working? Are we gonna be requiring masks at the polling locations? How are we handling that? Are we gonna have, the different, remember, we had people that used pens, and then we have the dirty ones and then the clean ones. Are we going, have we started to take into account for all of those types of, mundane processes, but it's going to actually be needed? Do we have enough hand sanitizers?
Yeah, we are looking at that. We have our supplies from last year, and we're doing an inventory. We should have sufficient supplies for, this year's elections. The studies regarding COVID have indicated that the surface transmission risk is very low to minimal. The real risk of transmission is breathing. So again, our policy for poll workers will be wear a mask or a face shield if you cannot wear a mask for our poll workers. Again, state and federal law says that we can't deny a ballot if a voter refuses to wear a
No,
mask.
so not for the voters. I'm talking about the folks that are gonna be working. Are we
Right.
gonna be mandating them so that they have to use a mask?
Right. Well, we'll be requiring that they wear a mask or a face shield if they can't wear a mask. And we will have our plexiglass barriers up, and we will also try to engage in social distancing and the like.
Thank you.
Do we have enough poll workers for this election?
We're currently seeking out poll workers. We have applications out, and we will be circulating it with UMass Lowell and community partners. We are actively working to seek out poll workers. I'm also working to schedule our training sessions. A letter should be sent out soon to our poll workers on that.
Because we have less polling spots, so we should have more poll workers.
Are the trainings going to be in person, or are they going to be recorded again, or Zoom?
Trainings are going to be in person. I'm looking to see if I can record a training session, but we're currently scheduling them for in person at City Hall, Mayor's Reception Room.
Yeah, it might be a good thing that if we plan for just a recording of that first one, just so you can have it.
Mhm. Okay. Anything further?
There was one other question about signage at polling places.
Yes, we will set up signage as well at polling locations.
And questions about signage at polling places where there's no primary. So people don't think they're going to vote there. We can think about that.
Yeah, I can certainly look at it on that front. And we will go from there. I'll have to look at that.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Move
Motion to adjourn.
We just do it.
I second it.
Motion from Vice Chair Pope, seconded from Commissioner Athos.
Got my
All those-
second in.
All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
I.
Okay. Meeting is adjourned at 7:04 PM.
Good work, Joe. Good work,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Good work.
Recording stopped.
Bye, guys. I'll see you next Tuesday.
Thank you, everybody, so much. Ellie,